But my opinion is that it's not so.
La Chiesa ha un futuro, e un grande futuro.
To me, the church in Turkey has a future, and a great future.
Globalizzazione, la presenza della Chiesa in Turchia acquista un valore grande.
With globalization, the presence of the church in Turkey gains a great value.
Noi in Turchia, oltre a far
Because we witness that the church is still alive, notwithstanding the persecutions suffered in history.
Adoramus te Christe et benedicimus tibi.
Lo seguiva una gran folla di popolo e di donne che si battevano il petto.
On the mountains upon Old Ephesus lies the shrine of Miriam, Anna Evi, the house of Mary. Mary's house was rediscovered and restored in the late 19th century by the Lazarist fathers. Here is preserved a small Roman-style house that, according to Ephesian tradition, the Apostle John built for the Virgin Mary to stay in. The same tradition affirms that the Holy Virgin's Assumption happened while she was there. It was in the 4th century AD that a church combining the house had been built. Paul VI was the first pope to visit this place in the 1960s. Later in the 1980s, during his visit, Pope John Paul II declared the Shrine of the Virgin Mary a pilgrimage place for Christians. Also, Pope Benedict visited the shrine in 2006. This is an extraordinary place, unique in the world. As you see, there are people who come here from all over the world, and in the same place we can pray together. It is a good example of how it is possible to live in peace, how to make community in such diversity. This is the house of the Virgin Mary, where she lived for 9 years, as Blessed Catherine Emmerich affirmed. St. John the Apostle took the Virgin Mary here after the resurrection of the Lord Jesus. Ephesus was a very difficult pagan city, so St. John founded this place on the mountains and built this house for the Virgin Mary. The local tradition tells the Holy Virgin died here, in that room. Smyrna is one of the most antique cities in the Mediterranean, called in Turkish Izmir. The metropolitan area accounts for 4 million people, the third most populous city in Turkey. It's a major international port. Around 1850, the Dominican provincial decided to revive the community in Istanbul and to re-establish the situation in Smyrna. The Dominicans bought a small piece of land to build a church. After 50 years, this church had become too small because the Italian and Maltese immigration. The Dominicans wanted to build a larger church, but they encountered a lot of obstacles. They were told there was no need to build a new church. To explain the present situation of Smyrna, we have to refer to what happened in 1922. Smyrna was a city predominantly Christian, mostly Orthodox, with many important churches and numerous hospitals of different Christian communities. In 1922, there was a complete transformation due to a fire in the city. After that, the Greek population was forced out, and I'm using a kind word here for what happened. The Armenian population, about 20,000 people, was thrown out too. Among the churches, the most beautiful were the Greek Orthodox Church Hagia Photini and the Armenian Cathedral of St. Stephen. There are still some pictures of these churches and others that were destroyed during the fire or blown up afterwards.
L'uniche chiese che si sono salvate sono state quelle.
Only the Catholic churches were saved. It might be for the very simple reason that in the Bay of Smyrna there were the ships of Catholic countries, so to go and destroy the Catholic churches might have represented a further obstacle in international relations. Anyway, in a similar predicament, many Catholics left, some to France and Italy. Many Italians went to Rhodes and the Dodecanese Islands. Others moved to Australia, the Maltese community mainly to Canada.
Per cui la Chiesa, quando si è un po' ricostruita,
So when the Catholic Church recovered, numbers went from 15,000 faithful to just 4,000, more or less.